Hello, First Baptist. I wanted to share with you the reading from the Valley of Vision. I've shared from this before. It probably looks backwards to you. Um, but the Valley of Vision is a collection of Puritan prayers and devotions. And I wanted to read through my reading this morning. O thou that hearest prayer, teach me to pray. I confess that in religious exercises, the language of my lips and the feelings of my heart have not always agreed, that I have frequently taken carelessly upon my tongue a name never pronounced above without reverence and humility, that I have often desired things which would have injured me, that I have depreciated some of my chief mercies, that I have erred both on the side of my hopes and also of my fears, that I am unfit to choose for myself, for it is not in me to direct my steps. Let thy Spirit help my infirmities, for I know not what to pray for as I ought. Let him produce in me wise desires by which I may ask right things. Then I shall know thou hearest me. May I never be importunate for temporal blessings, but always refer them to thy fatherly goodness, for thou knowest what I need before I ask. May I never think I prosper unless my soul prospers, or that I am rich unless rich toward thee, or that I am wise unless wise unto salvation. May I seek first thy kingdom and its righteousness. May I value things in relation to eternity. May my spiritual warfare be my chief solitude. May I be poor, afflicted, despised, and have thy blessing, rather than be successful in enterprise, or have more than my heart can wish, or be admired by my fellow men, if thereby these things make me forget thee. May I regard the world as dreams, lies, vanities, vexation of spirit, and desire to depart from it. And may I seek my happiness in thy favor, image, presence, and service. So as I read through this, it just reminds me that we desire things, we want things, and they're not always good for us. They're not always what is in God's will for us. And we are to seek God's will. As Christians, we are to do thy Father's will and not our own. We see that in the laws and the Ten Commandments, different things that have been issued to us or asked of us or told of us to do throughout the Old Testament, but we see it all kind of come together in the New Testament. And I wanted to also read through Matthew 28, or Matthew 26 rather, and it's going to be in verse 39 as Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. And if we call ourselves Christians, Christ followers, I believe that we need to lean on this verse as well when times are tough, when there are things that we want to do that aren't good for us. So we need to seek God's will first to see if something is good for us or if we should not partake in it. So as Jesus is praying in the garden, he knows that this time is near, and he goes in there with his disciples, and he goes away from them. And in verse 39, and going a little farther, he fell on his face and prayed, saying, My Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. So as Jesus is contemplating dying for Christians, giving his life up to forgive people of their sins, to make them right with God, his prayer is, God, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. But nevertheless, not my will, your will be done. And we deal with things during our life that are nowhere near as important or as meaningful as dying for others' sins, but we still partake of these things and don't seek God's will. So when we're faced with tough decisions and deciding whether we're going to do one thing or the other thing, do a potentially wrong thing versus doing a right thing. Those decisions can be tough. We're a sinful people, but we need to remember that the one who made us right with God prayed the same thing, but gave us a model to pray. God, not my will, but your will be done.